Hi, so here we are a couple weeks into self-quarantining, and at this point you might be getting a little bit bored with your standard at-home fitness routine or just going out and walking a little bit. And if you don't have access to typical at-home fitness equipment, you're gonna have to get a little bit creative. So I have with me 3 items that most people should have in their homes: a good solid chair, a bucket with some water, and a broomstick. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put a little bit of a spin on some of our typical exercises and use these at-home items to make them a little bit more interesting and a little bit more engaging. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start out with my broomstick here and my chair together. Now you may be seeing other videos or things online of people doing standard body weight squats or some squats with some weights, and that's great. But what we're going to do is we don't have those weights and we don't have a lot of resistance to work with, so we're going to work on ways to engage our core and strengthen our muscles all at the same time. So I've got a broomstick, which is light, of course, but when I take that broomstick and bring it up over my head with the arms fully extended, I'm going to gently sit down into my chair and then stand up. Now this exercise here with my arms extended overhead is engaging the scapula and the muscles around the area, which helps to create strength and flexibility around my spine. So it's a great core strengthening exercise, an overhead squat, very basic exercise. 12. But again, working through the legs and the midsection together. So that's my overhead squat. Continuing with my chair, and I'm going to change the angle here. Come off the end of my chair, knees bent, down 90 degrees and push. Triceps dip. Great exercise for the back of the arms. If I extend my legs, the exercise gets a little bit more challenging. A little bit more of my own body weight goes into the exercise, into my muscles. Don't use a chair with wheels, it's not going to work. And bent knees makes that exercise a little bit easier. That's your triceps dip. Now again, coming up, continuing with my chair. Using that chair if I need to for some stability. This is great for balance and also strength through the glutes and hamstring, that hip extension. Balance very important. If you haven't been going to see your trainer who has you work on those types of things, might be kind of forgetting about that at home, and we don't want that. We want to make sure that we work balance all the time. It's very important. So I'm going to use my chair if I need it for a little bit of support. If I don't need it, that's great. Standing up on one leg, 90 degrees at the knee, and then full extension at the hip. Come right up again, hip extension. Now aside from working my glute and hamstring, working on range of motion through my hip, I'm getting a good isometric contraction here in my down leg, and also working on some balance if I can let go of my chair back here. I kind of lost track there. Probably around 12 or 15. Feels like it. I'll stop there. Work that same exercise in the opposite direction. 12 times, 15 times. Again, if you can do the exercise hands-free, that's great. So good exercises there to start with our chair and broomstick. I'm then going to go over to my bucket here. It's got some water in it. Now what I did as well, I don't have a sink nearby, so I got a little extra water so that I can change my resistances if I feel the need as I go along through my routine. So I've got my bucket of water, and I only have one bucket, so I'm going to make use and do my exercises unilaterally. If you have 2 buckets, you can do this together, bilaterally with each arm. Got my resistance here, straight out to the side and down. That's a lateral raise. Lateral raise. The advantage of using water is that it really forces you to take your time and do the exercise correctly so I don't make a mess, especially if you're indoors. Now I could also, there's 6, I'm going to try 2 more here. Again, any number of repetitions you'd like to do, depending on your resistance, that's 8. And then I'm going to bring my bucket to my side and go with biceps curls here. Again, taking my time so I don't spill. I already did, just can't see it. And get creative here. Maybe work a couple of the lateral raises here 2 times. I'm going to turn my bucket down and biceps curl 2 times. And then I'm going to switch over and do that same routine on the other side. Now, sticking with my bucket, I'm going to find a way to work through my legs again. Now for this, I'm going to add some resistance. So I'll take my additional water, a little bit more there. And I'm going to set up with my legs wide, wider than shoulder width. I'm going to pick up my bucket here, right down in front. I'm going to lean over to one side, tap that bucket down to the floor, pushing back on my heel to work through the glutes and hamstring. Get a good stretch on my trailing leg that's nice and straight, foot flat on the floor. I'm going to straighten up. I'm going to raise the bucket up overhead. Lateral lunge to my left. Come to center, bucket right. Remember, take your time. Do the exercises properly. Lateral lunge with shoulder raise. There. I'm going to stick with my bucket one more time. I'm going to do one more exercise here today. Now this is an exercise that you do depending on how much space you have. And I'm going to do a farmer's walk. In a farmer's walk, I'm going to engage my midsection. I'm going to pull my abs in tight. I'm going to make sure that I stand up real straight. Hold that bucket at one side. And I'm going to walk back and forth with it. If you have a backyard, you can go do this outside. You can do it in your garage like I'm doing it. You could walk down the block with it. People are doing crazy things right now. There's nothing wrong with walking down the street with a bucket of water. And that is your farmer's walk. At that point, again, if I don't have 2 equal-sized buckets, I'll take that resistance to my opposite side and do that exercise again. So there's some good exercises to try with some typical items we find in the house. Good for working core strength here, shoulders, and lower body glutes and hamstrings. Good luck.